stream. This should be a very exciting one. I know a lot of you guys already know the news about DWAC, PHUN, MARK. All those stocks are going up big. If you saw the video last night, well, obviously they're up much higher than where we posted the video last night, but very exciting stuff. And good morning, everybody in the chat. Shadow Girl, Kitchener, Silver, Rich M. Good morning to you guys. Welcome back to the stream. Let's start off taking a look at the charts and see what's happened since the last video, where I think we were watching them. Well, I was watching them rise live, right? I watched, before the market even closed, I was watching DWAC, and I saw that it got halted, and so I started taking a look at the warrants. So, Sub-Zero, good morning. Also, I saw your hood video yesterday. I went to sell $20 put strike price. Have you considered doing the same yet? I'm getting very close to considering it. Looks like hood fell a little bit more yesterday, and I will look at that in just a minute. But DWACW, the warrants, I noticed were also rising despite the halt in DWAC, right? DWAC got halted at 451 and didn't start trading again until the market closed. So it was definitely, well, you know, someone was trying to hold it down, that's for sure. And the warrants kept rising past 451. So they kept rising into the after hours. They're pretty darn high now. I mean, if you were buying the warrants yesterday before this news came out, you were getting them for around 13 bucks. And now they're trading for around 17.58. So pretty big gain on that already. If you're trading the warrants on DWAC as well, if you were holding DWAC yesterday, it was around 40 bucks for some of the day. Got a little bit lower, around 36.69 at the lows, and now it's trading around 51. So even PHUN, we'll pull up PHUN also. PHUN was a big gainer as well. PHUN was around 278 at the lows and then 488 at the highs. It's been trending down a little bit since the market opened. It's around 377. We'll see what happens when the market officially opens, when we get some real volume in here. And Haroon Sam, what's going on with Sundial? Same old. Sundial is getting pushed down, made even cheaper. I mean, I'm starting to suspect that institutions are pushing it down so that they can buy some at these, potentially, you know, to push out normal investors in Sundial, right? The retail investors, they might realize that, hey, legalization is around the corner. Let's push out some retail investors, get Sundial super cheap, and load up. You know, so we'll see what happens with Sundial. Obviously, if we pull up the short interest on it, it's still pretty darn high. So we'll pull up the short interest on Sundial real quick and just see. It's even increased today, so it's getting back up there, right? So some shorts had covered their positions, a couple of them, not very many, but it's increased by 1.97% today, so we're up to 298 million shares short on Sundial. So shorts are continuing to push us down a little bit, and speaking of shorts, we'll take a peek at the shorts in DWAC, which we've got quite a few of, and some of the shorts might be a little worried right about now. Some of the shorts are probably, I mean, obviously a lot of them were shorting at much higher prices than where we are currently, so they're not necessarily out of the money yet. But taking a peek, you can see a lot of the shorts were entering DWAC around 70 bucks, 64, around 60 bucks. Some of them were entering, so a lot of shorts got in around 60 and 50 bucks. So we'll have to see DWAC rise a bit more if we want to squeeze out shorts, but it's definitely a possibility. And we'll see how this news really takes once the trading day begins, right? Obviously, some people are very happy about it. Some people might be less happy that some of their shares are getting diluted eventually, but I'm not too worried about it. I think that over the long term, it's very good. The fact that they're raising a lot of capital, I think that's really good stuff. So good morning, Ambition. Good morning, NJ. And good morning, Maria G. And Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon says Robinhood is below $25. It's getting cheaper to buy now. Should you consider sell a put? Yeah, definitely. I think we'll take a peek at Hood for just a second. We'll do it right here over Sundial. It's definitely getting pretty darn cheap. It's around 24. So we'll see if we have another bloody day in the markets. But right now, it's on a pretty strong trajectory downwards. So I am waiting maybe just another couple of hours, maybe another day or so. And definitely, though, I definitely like the idea of selling a Hood put for sure, especially at that $20 strike price. I mean, this will probably open up even higher. It looks like it's moved down in the after hours. Not quite. So maybe it'll open a little bit lower in price, but we'll see. We'll see what happens throughout the course of the day if we can get this even more expensive. So, I mean, that's just printing money, in my opinion, right? I think that over the next year, Robinhood will probably do pretty well, assuming the market doesn't crash completely. And Manny V says, love your content, but I'm leaving the stock market for crypto. Good luck on everything. I appreciate that, Manny V. And yeah, I understand that. You know, crypto's doing pretty good. over the past year. They've done pretty well. We can pull up some crypto information just to have it on the sidelines. I'll take a peek at it, but it looks like cryptos are actually down a little bit today. And good morning, Worlza. Good morning. But yeah, not Sundial, Robinhood. Yeah, Robinhood is definitely looking promising to sell a put on over the long term, if only to collect the premium, right? Even if it doesn't end up getting executed, I'd be happy just to collect the premium. And thank you so much for what you're doing, Sundial. I think you're right. Winner, cash is king. Yeah, I think Sundial is in for a very good run up. Probably in 2022. I think that could be the year of Sundial stock, the year of a lot of these cannabis stocks, especially if we get legalization. I think that'll be a big deal for them. So we'll see. Obviously, it really looks like manipulation, right? They have great news, they pump up on the great news, and then they just get shot down to lower lows than they've been to in the past while. In the past several months, they haven't been this low. So it certainly reeks of manipulation. It seems like potentially institutions are trying to scare investors out of Sundial. We'll see what ends up happening with it. I'm not letting go of my shares. I'm not getting fooled and swapped out for cash at this low of a price. I'd much rather have the Sundial shares. I mean, especially considering how much money they have on the balance sheet. Let's see. So Carol, good morning. And Ramin, yeah, another day, another dollar, definitely. And Haroon says definitely February 2022. I hope so. We'll see. Before then, they should hopefully be above $1 if they want to avoid the delisting. They're getting pretty darn far from $1, though, is the thing. They're at 56 cents per share now. So scary stuff. I mean, we'll see when Sundial does their share buyback if they can't pump the price up a little bit. And good morning, Vietnam, says Zach Taylor. Good morning, Zach. It looks like you were right about DWAC. You were saying yesterday I should be more bullish on it. And I realized that it had this pump potential. I didn't think it would do it today. I mean, the pipe news was unexpected, right? We weren't expecting to see that. I was thinking, if the beta wasn't released in November like they initially said, they probably wouldn't release it then like a couple of days after November. I figured they'd just pump it out in November and keep with their word if they were going to do it that soon anyways. So I figured we had some more time before big catalyst for DWAC pumped it up. I thought maybe I could get it a little bit cheaper for 34, 35 or something like that. But it looks like we are on the run up with DWAC. So we'll see how far this pump takes us. I mean, it looks like we're hitting $50 right now. So potentially we're seeing a little bit of a downtrend after this spike up. We'll see how long that lasts. If we can bounce off of maybe off of 50, maybe off of 48. We'll see what happens with it. And Silver says, bet the farm at 40, wink. Nice. And Sub-Zero says, buy AMC. AMC, let's see what AMC is doing. AMC, it got pretty darn cheap. Wow. Crazy stuff, down to 26. AMC just crashed. That's crazy. I think a lot of people are potentially tax loss harvesting AMC. I mean, we just broke through the $30 support, which is where we had rebounded the past time we were moving down. So tough to say what's going to happen with AMC, but I'm not a holder in AMC, I'll say. I'm not a holder in AMC, and I don't know if I want to become one. Maybe if I looked into it a little bit more. Obviously, there are a lot of people who believe in the short squeeze, but it looks like at the moment shorts are benefiting right now. Some shorts might even be making some money at this point, depending on where they entered. So we'll see what happens with AMC. Yesterday was definitely a horrific day for them, though. Down about $6 from the open. So that's tough to see for AMC shareholders. It's not been a good week either, right? They were just at 40 not too long ago. Now they're right below 30 at 29. So we'll see what happens with AMC. Obviously, if the meme stocks get back into popularity, get back into circulation, it could definitely be good. And speaking of meme stocks, I will pull up apewisdom.io and you guys can see exactly where DWAC is sitting. It's up at spot number 8, up 38 spots, up 37 spots actually. 506% mention-wise, so already it has risen to one of the top 10 on Ape Wisdom on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. So DWAC doing pretty darn good. We're going to see what we can get today. If we get another pump up today, if it continues rising, I wouldn't be surprised to see DWAC rising on the leaderboards even more, getting even more people hyped up about it. So we'll see what happens with that. But also, Stocktwits, the number 3 and 4 most talked about stocks on Stocktwits, most active stocks, are DWAC and PHUN right there. So both of these popular on not just Reddit, but Stocktwits as well. Let's see if Is PHUN discussed on let me see if I can't find PHUN on okay, there we go. So PHUN is being discussed on Reddit, and we'll pull this up. So it's up 1,000 spots to spot number 76. So not getting as much attention as DWAC. It only has 30 mentions, but that is enough to bring it up to spot number 76 instead of, I guess, spot 1,076. So interesting stuff with Phunware. So obviously, much smaller company, not as directly tied to TMTG, but it is something that people are buying on the news, right? So it's definitely benefiting. So let's see. Justin Williams grabbed some DWAC at 39 and sold after hours at 54. Not mad about it. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. I mean, it looks like if you sold 54, then you're in the money. So you sold. You could buy back in now even for a cheaper price. Technically, from where I sold at 51, I suppose I could as well. I'm gonna see what happens on the market open. We'll see how it holds this $50 level. We'll see. I might be getting back into DWAC today. But potentially, I mean, this news, a lot of people are excited about it, and I'll pull up the news right here. That Digital World Acquisition Corp shares jumped 24% after a report of $1 billion fundraising target. So they're essentially doing a pipe deal, private investment in public equity. They're offering that not necessarily to institutions, but to hedge funds and family investors. And they're hoping to raise $1 billion from it. And they'll be doing that by diluting some shares, right? They'll be offering up some more shares in exchange for that capital, which over the long term would be really good. In the short term, I could see people turning that on its head and potentially using it to bash DWAC stock. Obviously, though, a lot of people are enthused by this news, as there was a lot of pent-up energy built up in DWAC. People were not too happy about the recent dip that it had experienced down to $40. And when they heard any news, even news of potential dilution for DWAC, it did spike it up about 30%. So all in all, a good thing. So White Dragon says, Robinhood is super low. Should I buy a call or sell a put? Well, I'm not going to tell you specifically what to do because it's your call on that. But I will point out, so Robinhood is at $24 just about right now. And depending on where you buy the call, I mean, if you buy it at the money, you're paying $7.50. For the right to buy Robinhood at 25. So it then has to go to $32 before you're making any money. If you sell a put, say at 20, or even if you sold the 23, let's just say you're selling the $20 put, Robinhood, for you to make money, wouldn't even have to stay above $20. You just have to keep it above 15 to be making money selling that put. So you have a much higher probability of profit over the next year selling the put, but you also cap out your gains. You're only, if you sell one, going to be able to make $540 if you sell the 540 right there. So you are capping out the gains. The call you could make theoretically infinite money on if Robinhood, say, goes to like $1,000 per share, which I don't think it would, but you would then make a ton of money on the call. So high risk, high reward for the call, low risk, lower reward, still a fairly high reward for the put. I like the puts more. I definitely prefer selling options to buying them. I used to buy options a decent amount of the time, but I find that they just burn cash. They burn cash over time. Ran out of money putting them on both Sundial and DWACW, says Rico. You mean selling puts? Yeah, I have been looking at DWAC puts, and I've decided that before I sell the puts, the puts, boy, are the puts expensive. So you could definitely sell some puts for a very high premium, especially yesterday if you were doing it before the run up in price. So we'll see where the DWAC puts open up today. But boy, oh boy, can you collect a lot of premium selling puts on DWAC. But I'd prefer to wait until it actually turns into TMTG to start doing that. I really don't like holding options through transitions. So we'll see. And good morning, Manny C. And good morning, Abstract. What's up, man? And Rich M says, hit the like button. That would be appreciated. Right now we've got 70 viewers and 23 likes, so we could potentially get that up to 40 if we just got 17 more likes, and that wouldn't even be that many more people considering how many we've gotten here at the moment. So it would be much appreciated, guys, if we could bump this up to potentially 40 likes on the stream, get this out to some more people, get some of this DWAC news out to more people. We'll hopefully be getting it out to them. We'll see if we can do it. And Rocky Mountain Gobbler said, morning, guys. Missed a couple of days, took the booster. Thought it was going to recovery. Can't read the rest, but Sub-Zero says, there's 72 people hit the like button for Rob. I would appreciate it. We'll see what we can do. It looks like DWAC is currently dipped below 50 for a brief moment. We're going to see if we can't get a bounce off of it, though. We're sitting right at 50, it looks like, at the moment. So we've got a couple more minutes until the market opens. It'll be interesting to see. It's probably going to be a very volatile market open, as we've seen in the past. Maybe we'll even get a halt. And Sub-Zero says, forget Matt Kors, come to Rob's channel. That would be nice. Matt Kors, he definitely gets a lot of viewers. And I watched a stream of his yesterday. I was just taking a peek at it. I was interested just to see what was going on when AMC was falling so much. We'll see what happens with AMC. I know that obviously his viewers are not happy about it. I don't know how many of you guys are in AMC, but I will create a poll right here. Which stock are you most bullish on? Will include DWAC, PHUN, a lot of Sundial, and a lot in AMC. There we go. So we got DWAC, PHUN, Sundial, and AMC. We'll see which people are the most interested, and we'll ask the community. Tyler, Mike, you keep skippy. You mean the stream is skipping a little bit? Is that what's going on? Hopefully not. And DWAC to Neptune, says the Rockefeller, and Sub-Zero is holding 4,000 plus AMC. Jeez, that is a lot of AMC. That's a ton of AMC. Wow, that's a whole lot of AMC. So it looks like so far we've got a couple of votes, and it looks like it's a mixed bag between on this poll. If anyone wants to vote in the poll, we've only got 26 votes actually. 38% are most bullish on DWAC, 46% on Sundial, 12% on AMC, and 4% on PHUN. We'll see. And Tyler, Mike, why are you not talking about Sundial? New PR the same. What happened with Sundial? I'm sorry, I was distracted by DWAC news, but I'll see what... Is there any new news on Sundial? So, what happened with it? I see... Is there something that just happened with Sundial, Tyler, that I'm unaware of? I'm trying. Let's see if the chart shows us anything. Maybe there's. It doesn't look like there's crazy news out for Sundial. Let's see here. Okay. So Sunstream, is that a subsidiary? No. Sponsored joint venture with Sunstream Bancorp. Reports submission of draft statement on confidential basis for proposed IPO. Okay, so it looks like joint venture with Sundial. Sunstream is considering an IPO. All right, okay. So that's pretty cool. Says number of shares to be sold, price range for proposed offering not yet determined. All right, interesting stuff. So we'll see if that can help Sundial come back from the depths. Sunstream, that's right. That's what we were just looking at. So let's see. Sundial stock, Sunstream. Okay, we need something from the past 24 hours, probably. Okay, here we go. So Sunstream Investment Corp announces confidential submission of draft registration statement for proposed IPO. Sunstream, an affiliate of Sunstream Bancorp, joint venture sponsored by Sundial Growers, today announced that it has submitted a draft registration statement on a confidential basis to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission for a proposed IPO, offering its common stock with a specialty finance company that operates as a closed-end, non-diversified management investment company, blah, blah, blah. This announcement is being made pursuant and in accordance with the rules. Sure. Okay, so cool stuff. So it looks like Sunstream, which is a joint venture with Sundial, will be IPOing. Good stuff. That'll definitely help raise some capital. Could help with growth. Looks like they might be preparing to start expansion sometime soon, maybe even into the U.S. We'll have to see. They might know something we don't, but we'll see what happens with it. Obviously, I mean, the more capital they can raise ahead of time, the better. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. All right, and DWAC did successfully bounce off of $50. It looks like we're up to 51 in just about 10 minutes. We're going to have that market open. It's going to be a crazy bar. Enrico, yeah, crazy day as well. It'll probably be very crazy for DWAC, for PHUN, potentially even for Sundial with this news coming out. We'll see. It's not the strongest Sundial news necessarily, but it could only be beneficial for them. I can't see that being a bad thing. So we'll see if we can get any kind of boost off of that. Mark stock as well. We haven't really touched on Mark that much, but Mark is also benefiting. If you take a look at the bottom right chart right here, I'll remove myself for a quick second so you can see it. Mark stock is also experiencing a bit of a bump due to this news, but not as much as the others. It closed the day around $1.20 during the day before it had been trading mostly around those levels anyways. So not that much for Mark going on, but it did bump up to $1.55. So it is doing pretty good. Well, it was doing pretty good. Now it's back around $1.20 something. So it has benefited a little bit, but not as much as PHUN and DWAC. Mark probably has the weakest ties to DWAC and TMTG, unfortunately. It has slightly weaker ties than PHUN, which actually did work with Trump's campaign in the past, and DWAC, which is the company taking TMTG public. So we'll see if Mark can benefit from this in a bigger way than they already have, because it hasn't been that significant thus far. We'll see what happens with it, though. And Sub-Zero, do you think it a good idea to buy DWAC now? I just want a quick gain if you're looking for a little scalp trade. Potentially you could. I mean, we'll see on the first bar. I expect some volatility. So, I mean, the fact that we're holding 50 is good. Granted, it wouldn't surprise me to see a halt if we started going up too much. That's what we saw yesterday. They tried to stop it at 450 or 351. They tried to stop it from rising by halting it for the last 10 minutes of the day. It did not stop the stock from going up over the long term. Obviously, in the after hours, people still knew what was going on and were buying the stock up. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, if we hold $50, that would be very good. We're pretty darn close to 50. Maybe you want to take a little trade on it. It's a little bit risky. Yeah, and Kitchener Leslie says, why not buy DWACW for a short play? Definitely an option. Yeah, definitely. If you're looking for more volatility, you could buy DWACW. Both to the upside and the downside, it's a bit more volatile percentage-wise, right? You're going to see bigger changes percentage-wise, both to the upside and the downside with DWACW. So that's definitely an option, right? These are the warrants that track DWAC stocks. So if you're interested in those, if you're interested in a little short play, then you could play with the warrants. But yeah, so Silver was reading up on claiming losses from long holds. You can keep claiming losses beyond 1 year if you've claimed it all. Until you've claimed it all. Yeah, IRS max is $3,000 for individuals. So if I sell ACB, I'll claim losses 3 years. Yeah, so I believe the way it works is you can claim losses against personal income, but you can claim unlimited losses, I'm pretty sure, against other stock gains. So if you have a stock that you sold and you made, say, $9,000 on it, then you could take a $9,000 loss on another stock and write off the whole thing and pay no taxes. But if you made $50,000 in income and you lost $9,000 on a stock and you sold it, then you couldn't claim the $9,000 loss all in 1 year. You could claim $3,000 a year until the whole loss was written off. So, and Pedro Volta E Silva, where's the next support for Sundial? Well, unfortunately, looks like we've broken down pretty far. I mean, the next support is probably 50 cents, the psychological support. Will we get there? I just don't see. I mean, potentially we could. We were at 55 cents yesterday, but I mean, I'm surprised every day the further this thing drops. It just keeps getting insanely cheap, cheaper and cheaper. So I don't think that we will hit 50 cents. I mean, it's possible. We're not that far off, but boy, oh boy, has this thing gotten cheap. Looking at the market cap, we can pull up the market cap of Sundial stock. I'll pull it up right here on Yahoo, and we'll see what it is compared to the cash that they've got on hand, which I think they have cash and other securities of $1.2 billion. And as of November 7th, at least, potentially it's gone down since the markets have been falling. Some of their cash was in investments, but they're lower than a $1.2 billion market cap right now. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy cheap, in my opinion. Sundial, it's crazy cheap. I'm thinking about selling more puts on Sundial because it's just getting too cheap, right? You can sell the 50 cent puts for almost 20 cents. Maybe today, if we dip down a little bit more, you can you can sell them for 20 cents. So I've got dividends of 16K this year, so a loss of 10K if I sell ACB now. Okay, yeah, and here's something. The dividends, unfortunately, the thing is those count as normal income, right? Those aren't stock gains. And according to my understanding, you can't write off, all the gains, only the 3,000 a year. Only 3,000 a year from losses can be written off against dividends, unfortunately. At least that's my understanding of it. So you probably want to look into that a little bit more if you've got that many dividends. But I believe that they just count as normal income, essentially, for the purposes of writing off stock losses. So I believe that you wouldn't be able to write off all of the ACB losses if that was the case. And Zach Taylor says, Justin, U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen is ready to retire the word transitory to describe inflation. And little AR-15 Glock lies. Do you need market cipher? Some YouTubers use that. I will take a peek at that. And so yeah, transitioning or retiring the word transitory for sure. I mean, I know Powell already discussed that in his meeting, but now Yellen's doing it too. So what is market cipher? So it says trading Bitcoin just got a whole lot easier. Let's pull this up right here. Bull bear indicators, buy warning signs, support resistance, combines over 30 years of trading experience. Interesting. I'll take a peek at this later on. I'll take a peek when there aren't people that I must entertain. I'll do some research into that. I don't just want to be reading out market cipher stuff to you guys, information about it without knowing anything myself. I'll take a peek at market cipher soon though. Looks interesting. Proud sponsor of Platinum, Mike Perry. Interesting. So everyone hit your like button, says Rich M. That would be very appreciated. And we'll see if I can be back in time. I'll take a quick break for just about a second. Quick bathroom break before the market opens. Hopefully I'll be back within 3 minutes. And potentially we could even get the likes to 75 while I'm gone. We'll see what we can do. We're at 109 viewers right now. Maybe we can get another 10 likes. Hit us up to 75. We'll see if we can do it. I'll be right back. All right, I have returned. I am back. And we got up to 71 likes, so we're only 4 away. If anyone wants to be one of the 4 to take us to 75, then that would be appreciated. So Silver says, the only thing I'm liking about ACB Aurora Cannabis are the patents, which could make it a desirable merger with another big dog pot stock. That could definitely be the case. Yeah, we'll see what happens with ACB. It certainly has fallen, as have all the cannabis-related stocks over the past year. But not even the past year. I think they might be up over the past year, 365 days. But over the past couple of months, at least, all the cannabis stocks have been getting hurt pretty hard. It wouldn't surprise me to see some mergers now that they're getting down to cheaper valuations. I mean, Sundial sure has a lot of cash on hand. I don't know. They could certainly acquire some companies, especially at these really cheap prices. It might not be a bad idea. Okay, and Sundial on the open. We're getting the first bar of the day. I'll zoom in on some of these stocks right here. We got DWAC, PHUN, and Sundial all experiencing red bars to begin with. Mark, the only one, seen some green. So not what we were expecting. And Jordan Israel Peterson says, watching ABUS as well. I have not been. I will take a peek real quick at ABUS and see what they're all about. Arbutus Biofarm. So, okay, I've actually seen this one before. So it did just pump up recently, obviously, on some news. But when was it? 12/1. So, patent dispute shows that their caspid inhibitor is generally safe and well tolerated. Okay, so cool stuff. We'll see what happens with those. DWAC testing 50, PHUN moving down also. Sundial seeing some red too. Looks like this bloody market has taken some stocks down with it. So the SPY is actually up as of the close at least. And DWAC bouncing off of 50, good to see. PHUN as well, and Sundial, all three of these are seeing green bars right now. So we'll see what we can get. SPY moving up. So maybe the markets are going to take these stocks with them. We'll see. We'll see. Any chance of BBIG up by close tomorrow, says Steve McGuire. Let's take a peek at BBIG real quick. It's been getting beaten on too. You know, I think a lot of stocks right now, a lot of people are tax loss harvesting towards the end of the year. It's not a bad idea. I've done that to an extent. So yeah, we'll see if BBIG can get up, but I think December 27th is when they said they were doing the Thai dividend. At least that's when they said the date would be for BBIG. So we'll see if we can get it up by then. I'm not so sure about tomorrow, right? I don't know if there's a catalyst to get them going up tomorrow. And Eric, afternoon. Good afternoon, Eric. Well, good morning, actually. Here it's morning, but for you, I'm sure it's afternoon. So DWAC holding $50 pretty well. We'll see if this can hold. It's testing it right now. It's a tough one. We'll see. PHUN moving up. That could be a good indication that DWAC might be following if PHUN is going up. They do tend to trade very similarly. I would be surprised at this point if one of them started diverging from the other in a meaningful way. So I'm thinking that, you know, if one of them goes down, then they're both going down, and if one of them goes up, they're both going up. So we'll see. It looks like DWAC is temporarily moving below $50. We'll see if that lasts. We'll see if that sticks. We'll see if it sticks. It wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of a sell-off today. A lot of people were potentially bag holding some DWAC. Some people who are buying in at the higher prices, as well as people who are buying in yesterday, might want to take in a little bit of a profit. You know, a lot of people probably bought on this news, some institutions at least. You know, whoever has the algorithms that can trade the second news comes out, we're probably buying in on this news, looking to take a little profit. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some initial selling pressure, as we always have in the past, pretty much, with DWAC around the opens. We've always seen selling pressure for the most part. So, Flux Forest morning, Sunstream announcement, thoughts, pros and cons? I think the pros are that they'll be able to raise some capital, and potentially, you know, if we see legalization next year, with that additional capital, they should be in a prime position to expand into the U.S. And the cons, can't really think of a con to doing that. I think it's general. I mean, I guess the cons would be for the owners of Sunstream who potentially be giving up some of their equity. So that's a con, I suppose. But overall, I think it'll be a good thing for the company. So, Silver, I keep thinking, will more folks use Cannabis or Truth Social? If you're talking about around the world, probably Cannabis. If you're talking about in the U.S., it's tough to say. Probably Cannabis still. I think that's a big one right there. I think on both sides of the aisle, people are going to be using Cannabis. It's likely only one side of the aisle that's going to be using Truth Social. And what do you think about CFVI? They're taking Rumble public. Really? Let me check that out. CFVI. You know, I post my videos to Rumble. If any of you guys, wow, it looks like they just announced that yesterday. That's cool. Or last night. Wow. Amazing. Tweet from Donald Trump Jr. in reaction to news Rumble will go public. That's really cool. I should have been paying attention to that. I didn't even notice. I guess it didn't happen until, this morning it was announced. Okay. So that's really cool stuff. Let me edit this just a touch. There we go. And CFVI, we'll pull it up real quick. Just need to change some stuff in the title. We'll start watching CFVI. That's an interesting one. I do post my videos to Rumble if anyone is ever interested in watching the videos, not the live streams. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I may eventually. So we'll see. Okay, so there we go. There we go. So it was announced last night. And how's crypto doing, asks Abstract. So we'll pull up the cryptos. Cryptos are down a little bit today. Bitcoin down 2.79%. We'll pull up the charts right here real quick. Bitcoin down 2.79%, so down to 56,000. Ethereum down 3.86%. Binance Coin down 3.71%. Cardano up 5%, so it's regaining some of the big losses that they've seen lately. And Dogecoin and Shiba Inu are both down. Dogecoin not down that much, down less than 1%, and Shiba Inu down 7%. So the cryptos are definitely suffering. I guess they're going along with the stock market at the moment. A lot of stocks have been suffering lately. A lot of cryptos as well. Over the past little bit, they've been suffering. So we'll see. We'll see if they continue to do that. I mean, Bitcoin's off its highs. It's down about 10,000 from its highs. Or 12,000 from its highs. Geez. So, cryptos are suffering a little bit, but not that bad. Not that bad. So, Roman Cantu might want to keep an eye on AMC after it dumped huge yesterday, up 7% already. Whew, there's a lot to watch today. Geez. There's a lot to watch. So, AMC, let's see. Oh, wow. Up 8%, up to $30. Geez. Okay, not the biggest gain dollar-wise, but if you bought right before the open or even at the open, you were buying it for around 29. Now it's at 30.94, so almost 31. So cool stuff. Cool stuff. AMC is definitely doing pretty good. CFVI, interesting to see what's going on with it. It's up 28%. PHUN and DWAC just rebounded. DWAC back up above 50. PHUN moving up as well. And CFVI is up 28%, but it was up more in the pre-market. So it's been moving down since the market's opened. It's looking like some people are looking to take some profits. We'll see what happens with it, though. But AMC is certainly skyrocketing, so that is cool. We need a couple more charts. we need some more charts. So I want to keep taking a peek at Sundial, too. Become an ape, Rob, says Sub-Zero. Funny story, I was an ape at one point with one share of AMC that I got for free. It was a referral stock. So in the description of this video, if you guys are interested in clicking the link down there, you get I think right now it's a free $50 from M1 Finance. But at one point it was get 2 free stocks on Webull. And one of the free stocks I got was AMC. So I ended up getting that, but I did end up selling for around 42. I saw that we were playing. I held it for a little bit, and then I saw that we were dipping around 42 a bit. And then when we moved back up, I decided to sell for around 42 right there, I believe it was. Or maybe it was this pump up. I think it might have been this. And, then obviously, I saw it go higher, and I was sad that I sold. But now it's looking like that might have been a good decision. Obviously, not that of that much consequence. It was like $12 that I saved myself. But it's tough tracking all of these stocks and being involved in too much. I don't want to spread myself too thin and have too many different plays. I think that there is something to be said for keeping yourself somewhat concentrated in a couple of good plays that you have a high conviction in. I don't know. I'll think about AMC. I will think about it. I know it's a very popular one. And here says Remark Holdings up 6.33%. Yeah, we were taking a peek at Remark just earlier today. So we will see what happens with Mark. We do need more charts here. Unfortunately, we've got the 4 charts filled up with DWAC, PHUN, AMC at the moment, and CFVI. But we'll take a peek at Mark and see what they're doing. So they've actually been doing better than DWAC and PHUN throughout the course of the day, ever since open at least, right? They did worse in the after hours and the pre-market. They're only up 6.25% total, whereas both DWAC and PHUN are up over 10% respectively. But Mark has been doing better during the trading day itself. So if you bought right at open, you're up on Mark, whereas you're down on DWAC and PHUN also, but just barely. So Sundial, let's see what Sundial's been doing. It looks like it's gotten a boost as well, up 4%. So it looks like, obviously, it's too soon to say if the sell-off is older. FlexForce says he's a bot. Hero, prove FlexForce wrong. Prove that you're not a bot. Say something, please. I'm pretty darn sure he's not a bot. I've definitely seen real comments from Hero. I think he's just doing the Stocktwits thing, basically, where you post gaining stocks, and it's interesting on occasion to see which stocks. Sometimes I do take a peek at Hero stocks, but Hero, please say something. FlexForce is calling you out. He's calling you a bot. And guys, I'm looking at the analytics right now, actually, and we have 99 likes. So who would like to be the one who clicks the like button and moves us up to 100? Anyone could do it. There are 104 of you who could do it. If you haven't already liked the video. But we're at 99 right now. We'll see if we can get to 100 with one additional like. It would be very interesting. And what's up, brother? Says Hero. Look at that. Look at that, FlexForce. Turns out he's real. There we go. You see, I think he's just doing the Stocktwits thing. He's just posting. Kitchen Leslie, yeah, we got too many. We got to 104. Whoops. And Abstract says he's a music bot. That is cool. And Abstract says, I wish I could like twice. I wish he could too. That would be nice. And it looks like DWAC and PHUN both moving down a touch. They're moving down a touch. So they are not holding at $50. At least DWAC isn't holding at 50. Rob, how come you only stream for 1 and a 12th? What do you mean for 1 and a 12th? You mean 1 and a 12th, 1 hour and... I'm not sure what you're talking about. How come you only stream for 1 and 1/12th? I don't know what that means. Like 1 and 1/12th of the trading day? I'm not sure. Good morning, Rob. Getting here late. Have you looked at the news on Sundial yet this morning? Yeah, the Sunstream news, unless there's new news. But yeah, the Sunstream news. Looks like they're IPOing. They're going to be raising some capital. Talk about a tough time to be raising capital in the cannabis markets, though. If you look at Sundial, it kind of explains what's been going on with all the cannabis stocks. It's just been falling, getting pushed down to all-time lows. So we'll see what kind of valuation Sunstream can get, how much capital they can raise. I think there was, I haven't looked too closely at the news. But 1.5 hour, we love you, bro. Yesterday, yeah, I did only do it for 1.5 hours. Sometimes I just got some stuff. I had a final to take yesterday. So I have some things to take care of. What color was the white cat? I think it was white, says Kitchen Leslie. And the only L we take in life is lessons, FlexForce. Yeah, that's true. You always learn from your mistakes, so... And Whirls says, Sundial, I can't help myself buying more. Definitely. Sundial actually just moved up, so it probably would have been better to do it 10 minutes ago. But looking at those 50-cent put options for January 2023, they're 20 cents per share now, or 20 cents per share. So you could be buying Sundial in 2023 for 30 cents per share if it ends below 50. I don't think it would. Otherwise, you could just collect the 20-cent premium. Geez. Although at the same time, if we could even just get Sundial itself up to 78 cents sometime in the next year, you'd be making that 20 cents back. So tough to say which is better. Obviously, the options are a much safer route to go because to lose money, Sundial would have to go down to 30 cents at that point. Which, sure, it's possible. But I can't imagine that happening, especially with all the good catalysts Sundial has going for it. And now Sundial it's doing pretty good. It is doing pretty good. It is certainly moving up a bit on this Sunstream news. It looks like it took a while for it to kick in. And potentially, people were looking at Sundial realizing just how darn cheap it was. But also the markets are recovering a bit. It looks like the small caps, especially the Russells, is up 1.3%. And Kitchener Leslie says you should do a tutorial on options. I should do that. I've done it before. In one of the live streams, I kind of talked about options for a brief bit. But yeah, I should do more of a full-fledged tutorial. I might do that at some point. Those are tough. It's tough thinking of exactly the right way to explain options because they are kind of complex. And there's a lot to talk about with them, so it would have to be pretty long. But I'll definitely think about it. And Sundial would buy back huge at 30 cents. Oh, yeah, I bet they would. They'd probably, I don't think Sundial would get to 30 cents is the point. So we're almost back up to 60 cents with Sundial. So we're getting pretty darn close. We're up 5.92% today. And Sub-Zero says, Rob, I got 16K of Sundial. Should I put it to work by selling the $1 calls? Potentially you could, especially depending on the strike date. With selling the calls, I prefer to do it much closer to the target, right to where we are currently. Selling the 2023 calls doesn't make too much sense to me because I mean, sure, you're collecting the 20-cent premium, but I think in 2023 would be so much higher than $1 that it doesn't make too much sense to sell them. I mean, obviously, you'd protect your investment a little bit. And if Sundial did just kind of meander around 60, 70, 80, 90 cents, even up to $1.20, you'd be making money technically. So over the next year, though, I mean, I could see, Sundial, it's a pretty volatile stock, so we'll get a line going right here. But to make money on Sundial, selling the $1 calls in 2023, Sundial only has to do that, and it doesn't really seem like that big of a gain, and it is sometime in January. It's January 21st, so around there is all Sundial would have to do before he'd be out of money, out on the money doing that. And it looks like Sundial has just been pushed down so much, and Sundial kind of has the nature to spike up really fast. You've seen in the past it's spiked up here. It's done a couple of spike ups. So selling the $1 calls, potentially you could. You could definitely sell some calls and potentially be making some money on it. I'm waiting to sell my calls, though. I'm going to see if we can't get Sundial above $1 before I start selling them. That's my plan, at least. You could obviously sell them if you'd like. You could definitely make some money doing it. Selling the calls, you're not going to lose money necessarily, right? Depending on how you look at it, you're never losing money selling the calls if they're covered, because you're either, as long as they're out of the money, selling the stock for a gain, selling the calls for a gain, and potentially you could have made more had you not sold them, and that's always a possibility, but you're never going to lose money selling the calls, at least, depending on how you look at it. So you could sell them. It's more of a guaranteed success, but potentially limiting the upside. So I definitely enjoy selling calls, and I've sold a lot of calls on Sundial before. It's just that I think right now we've been pushed down so low that it doesn't make sense for me to sell additional calls on Sundial. I think we've been pushed down a little bit too low, and so I'm not too interested in selling calls. It looks like DWAC has gotten pushed down a little bit. Let's see what the calls on DWAC are doing. Let's see what the options look like, actually. Okay, so you could potentially be selling DWAC options for a year out. Granted, who knows what's going to happen to the options when it transitions into TMTG, but the options currently, you could sell a $40 put for 2023 for $20. So if you think DWAC will be above 40, you're making the full $20 premium on that. And as long as it's above 20, you're making money. So that could be something to look at. I'm probably going to wait until the transition into TMTG, until it's the real ticker, before I start selling options on DWAC, just because I don't like holding options through that transition. And Abstract says, I'm ready to start making money on my investments. The only thing I'm up on is SHIB. Yeah, it's been a tough market the past little bit. I mean, even the SPY has been moving down lately. If you take a look at the SPY, it's been going down a bit these past couple of days, this past week or so. It has been tough, even for the old reliable SPY. So, and especially the meme stocks. A lot of the meme stocks have been moving down big. Potentially some of that more recently is due to tax loss harvesting. A lot of people, for the past couple of months have been losing money on these meme-ier plays, right? So we'll see what happens over the next year. If in January people start getting into them a lot more, if they're ready for some more gains. I know we had a big run last year, or rather at the beginning of this year, so we'll see if we can get that to happen again. Obviously, there are some more fears surrounding inflation and whatnot, so we'll see. And Kitchener Leslie says, I'm up almost $1 on my CFVIW warrants. CFVI, yeah. It looks like it's been moving down a touch throughout the course of the day. We'll see if that continues. But cool stuff. And Sundial volume flying. Yeah, Sundial's been doing very good. Back up above 60 cents. I suspected that below 60 it was a little bit too cheap. This could be the low that we see. This could be the low of 55.85. That could be the low. People might be looking at that in a year, wishing they'd bought there. We'll see what happens with it, though. And CFVI taking another little dip down on this bar. PHUN and DWAC. PHUN is actually holding itself fairly well, right? It's up more percentage-wise than DWAC is. Just barely, though. Just barely. DWAC is up around 9%, and PHUN is up around 10%. And Abstract says, I just have to be patient. Definitely. I think time in the markets beats timing the markets. So hopefully that made sense. But, the longer you're in, I think the more of an opportunity you have to make money. I think overall, the long-term trend on all of these things is that they're going up. Even stocks that get pushed down for a period of years like Sundial, I think that over the long term, especially once we get legalization, That's a long-term gold mine. So that's just my opinion on it. I definitely like stocks over cash. That's what I think. And what is the strike price on CFVIW? Let me check that. I believe well, let's see. Okay, so exercise price of $11.50 per share. So same as DWAC. Let's find it right here for you. Okay, here we go. So pull this up. This is according to the Form 8K right here. The for CFVIW right here, the trading symbol, you can see it right there. Redeemable warrants exercisable for Class A common stock at an exercise price of $11.50 per share. So there you go, $11.50, same as DWAC. I think $11.50 is the typical number that they'll use for SPACs. So not too surprising, but good morning, Rob. Volta and Tesla bouncing back, says Mauro Stefano. Yeah, so Tesla, let's see what Tesla, we'll take a peek at Tesla real quick. Tesla, it's looking like it's down a little bit. It's actually down a little bit, so Volta, and then Volta Finance, or probably VLTA. Looks like, yeah, they're moving up a touch. It's still down on the day, technically, but we'll see. You're welcome, Kitchener. And Sundial, says Tyler Mike, with Sunstream, will be able to do business in the USA with the Sunstream SPAC. Their evaluation could be in the billions. Wow, that could be good. Yeah, I guess if they can do it through Sunstream, then that could be good. I think the case with Sundial right now, the reason that they can't do business in the U.S. is because they are listed on the NASDAQ, and cannabis is currently federally illegal. And I think we can figure that out. So let's see. Let's see if we can't pull up some proof of this. Okay, so can't find direct statement about Sundial, but we can extrapolate from Tilray, right? Because Tilray is also listed on the NASDAQ. And this article right here from Barron says, because Tilray is listed on the NASDAQ, it can't have cannabis operations in the U.S., while the plant is illegal at the federal level. So we can extrapolate that and apply it to Sundial as well, because Sundial is also listed on the NASDAQ. So essentially, you can just replace the word Tilray here with Sundial and say, because Sundial is listed on the NASDAQ, it can't have cannabis operations in the U.S., where the plant is illegal at the federal level. Yeah, if they can do it through Sunstream, which is their joint venture, then potentially they could find a workaround for that. I believe that article was explaining how Tilray found a workaround doing something similar. So that could definitely be good for Sundial to get an early foot in the door and start getting some exposure to U.S. cannabis legalization, some more exposure, right? Obviously, legalizing it in the U.S. would be really good for Sundial, because then they could be allowed to expand into the U.S. And they certainly have a lot of cash to do so. And Abstract says cannabis will be legal by the middle of 2022, hopefully. I think so. I think we're on the brink. I mean, I just can't see politicians holding out that much longer. I think everybody wants it. Let's see, when are the next elections? That could really be the tipping point. So okay, midterm elections, November 8th of 2022. Yeah, so, I mean, sometime before then, they'll probably want to have this thing all hammered out, right? Because they don't want, in the months leading up to the election, to have a bunch of people slandering them, whichever politicians there are, slandering them, saying that they wouldn't legalize cannabis. So I could see, yeah, sometime a ways before November of 2022, I could see for sure a lot of the politicians ending up having to vote on cannabis legalization. Otherwise, their competition might just complain about how poor of a job they're doing representing the voters, as obviously a lot of voters have said, let's legalize. And looking at the poll, we've got 138 votes. And you know what's interesting about this poll that we've run, which says which stock are you most bullish on? We've got 138 votes, and we've only got 117 likes on the video. So we've got about 21 more votes in the poll than likes on the video. I'm just pointing that out. Maybe we could remedy that. But as for which stock are you guys most bullish on, we've got 138 votes. 32% of you say DWAC, 13% say PHUN, 36% say Sundial, and 19% say AMC. So a lot of you guys are very bullish on AMC and Sundial in addition. I mean, Sundial is actually the winner of the poll, so most of you guys are liking Sundial. And yeah, DWAC is moving back up above 50, Sundial holding 60 cents. So this is good stuff. All of the stocks that or most of the stocks that we care about, CFVI is moving down a touch, but most of the stocks that we're watching today are doing pretty good. They're all in the green, up over 5 or 10%. So pretty good stuff. Kyle Cooper says PHU and DWAC moving back up. Yep. And Abstract says, I think it's something like 70% of registered voters support cannabis legalization. Yeah, it's something crazy high, Abstract. Definitely, for sure. And Zach Tiller says 36% of your viewers are high. Possible, right? It's possible. It's very possible. And all right. So we're doing pretty good. And Silver says, I think I'm, and then doesn't finish the sentence, but we can only assume what Silver would have said. But PHUN, I want to see PHUN get back up above 4. You know, I actually like PHUN quite a bit, especially if they could get a direct tie. If they could get a direct tie to DWAC and Trump Media and Technology Group, I think that would be really good for them. But in addition, they've got FunCoin. And if people really took to FunCoin and started buying up FunCoin, that could certainly boost their market cap because they hold, I think, 700 million FunCoin or something crazy high like that. A ton of FunCoin, which they just launched, which you guys may or may not be aware of if you've watched the video. I discussed it during. And Abstract says, I'm not high, not when I'm at work. Need to stay clear-minded for my job. That's a good thing. That's good. Especially since you're driving. So that's good. And Express Inc., EXPR running up 26%. We'll take a peek at EXPR right here. And yeah, it's up. It's up just over the past couple of minutes since the open. It looks like they had an earnings call, and a massive earnings beat. They were profitable instead of negative this quarter. So they were expected to lose 2 cents per share. They made 17 cents per share. So very cool. Very cool stuff for expressinc.com. I'm not sure what Express Inc. does. So we'll see. Let's see. What is Express Inc. all about? What's Express Inc. doing? So, let's see. What are they all about? They engage in the provision of apparel both for women and men. It offers apparel and accessories for work, casual, jeanswear, and going out occasions. Okay, so it's a clothing company, and it looks like they were selling some more clothes than expected. So good stuff. Good stuff to see from them. They've obviously been getting beaten down like a lot of other stocks over the past couple of months to pretty low levels. So we'll see how high this can take them. Maybe past 450. We'll see with Express.com. And come on, PHUN, fly to $10. They need some Christmas money, says Christopher Wong. That would be nice if PHUN could get to 10. We'll see if it can. We'll see if it can. That would be pretty close to the highs. We need to see DWAC doing some pretty cool stuff. And Tim Boone says 75K Sundial at 68 cents. Fear is out, friend, says Tim Boone. He's not worried about Sundial. And neither am I. I am not worried about Sundial. I think it's going to be doing very well. And Abstract says, I'm not driving today. I'm glad you remembered, though. Of course I remembered. But good to hear. Maybe more relaxing day potential. Or you say you're at work anyway, so maybe not relaxing, but not a driving day. I know that can get very strenuous. I've done some long drives before, and I certainly get tired after the first couple of hours. So, granted, I'm doing highway driving most of the time when I'm doing that, but stopping and delivering packages and all that could be nice. Nice break, a nice chance to stretch the legs. And it looks like DWAC is moving back up above 50. PHUN trying to get above 4. It's reaching for 4. This little potential right here. It's reaching up. We'll see if we can get there. EXPR, we'll replace this with CFVI. And pull that back up. So let's see what we've got going on. Where is DWAC ranking now? Where are we ranking? All right, so on Google Trends, we've got DWAC and PHUN stock, and we've got more people searching for them than even last night when this news came out. So you'll see DWAC in blue and PHUN in red. They're both just continuing to trend higher and higher. This hour, more people have been searching for DWAC than before, and PHUN topped out around 7 a.m., but it's still pretty darn high, higher than it was last night when they were pumping initially. So we'll see if they can't move up big on this news. We'll see what we can get. Let me just change the title real quick. There we go. Okay. And Abstract says, I'm just happy to have a job. My only coworker got fired yesterday. IDKO happened. Very unfortunate. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Fortunately, it seems like we're in a pretty good job market right now. So hopefully they won't have too much trouble finding a new one. And Needs an Agent says, Big Well sold SafeMoon might be a good buy op when it bottoms. Oh, wow. So SafeMoon, I'll pull up SafeMoon on Coinbase. I haven't actually gotten a pancake swap or anything like that. But yeah, so SafeMoon down. Ooh, yeah, it looks like a Big Whale did sell. Jeez. So we did see a big drop. Yeah, it might be a good buy at some point. I should really take some initiative and get in on that. But yeah, I still have your $50 in SafeMoon right now. It says we're also we'll see if I end up getting a pancake swap or whatever it is that I need. But look at that, PHUN up 22% on the day. DWAC moving up as well. It looks like those initial dips were only there to scare off some of the paper handsers. And we'll see. I mean, it looks like we're at highs of day thus far. Highs of intraday up 20% on DWAC, up 22% on PHUN. These are certainly getting a lot of mentions, not just on Google, but let's see what they've done on Stocktwits. On Stocktwits, they're up big. 3 and 4, still the 3 and 4 most active on Stocktwits. We're going to need a couple thousand more mentions to get them above SPY and AMC. Obviously, AMC is getting a ton of mentions on Stocktwits because it is having such a volatile ride today. So it's no surprise that it's taking over a little bit. But let's pull up Ape Wisdom and see how they're ranking there. So Ape Wisdom. It looks like DWAC moved up a spot to number 7, so up 40 positions right now. We wouldn't need that many more, only 20 more upvotes to move up above AMD, and I think we can do it. I think we're on quite a ride right now, so we'll see. And Abstract says, I think SafeMoon is a good project, but keeps getting held back by whales. Yeah, it looks like they did just get pushed down due to the whales selling, but and Needs an Agent says $60 million wallet unlocked and started unloading. Oh, that's what it is. DWAC, yeah, skyrocketing. People are exclaiming it. And Kyle Cooper, 2 safe plays in here. Canada are Simplex, which trades somewhat with AMC and Meg Oil Energy. Okay. And there was something I just wanted to. Okay, yeah. So Silver says Square changing its name. Jack Dorsey leaves Twitter, now changing Square name. What's up with him? It may be that Jack Dorsey wants to just focus more on blockchain. I mean, if he's changing Square's name to Block, it stands to reason that he's probably going to start doing more with blockchain. Since Square was already like a payment provider, payment processor, it may mean that he's moving more into the blockchain space. So we'll see what happens with it. So we'll see what happens with that. But obviously, if he's going to focus more on Square, he might want to change the name. It looks like PHUN is back up above 4. And though with Jack Dorsey, it is cool to see. It is cool to see him focusing more on blockchain. I definitely like blockchain and think that we could really benefit a lot from decentralizing some of the institutions. That would be very helpful for us, I think. Although With the case of Block, Square changed its name to Block. It looks like they may be an institution just trying to use blockchain to make their services cheaper. That's possible. And it looks like Sundial is starting to dip a little bit. So we're down a little bit. We're down below 60. It looks like we bounced off of 60. We'll see if we can't get back up. Hopefully we can. And PHUN is being held below $4 also. So hopefully we don't get a bounce off there as well. We'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but we'll see. And Abstract says whales suck. They certainly do. I mean, I like it when they're holding large quantities and essentially removing those from circulation. But yeah, when they sell, it can really affect the price, unfortunately. Okay, so DWAC at 52.74, up 18%. Can Dorsey run it from Gitmo? I don't know. I've not heard of Gitmo. DWAC starting to see a little bit of a red bar right now. Not too bad, though. Nothing too bad. Nothing that's erased what we've done over the past 5 minutes, but we're starting to see a little bit of a breather getting taken for DWAC and PHUN. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. It would be nice if we took a breather once we broke 4 on PHUN. That would be an ideal time to start using 4 as support and to start to take a breather for just a couple of minutes. Let these cool off a little bit. Obviously, they're getting a ton of attention at the moment. So if we pull up Stocktwits, you can see DWAC, the number 1 stock right here. And CFVI, actually the number 2 trending stock. So that's cool. So they are definitely both increasing in ranking rather quickly. A ton of people are posting about them on Stocktwits. So we'll see what we can get from DWAC and PHUN if we can't get them rising a little bit more. It looks like they are just starting to stall out, though, right below 4. It's potentially possible that DWAC is stalling out this time because of PHUN getting stopped out at 4, and they like to move together. So we have seen maybe some resistance at 4 in the past, and hopefully it'll start acting as support. That's what I was hoping when I saw how high it had gotten last night. I was hoping that we would stay above 4 with PHUN, but we did dip below. So now we're using it as resistance. We'll see if we continue doing that, though. Hopefully not. And CRTX, possible short squeeze, says Chess Melody. Maybe, but let me pull up real quick DWAC's short interest. So we do have a decent amount of shorts in DWAC, 9.93%, or 2.98 million shares. And that's pretty large regarding the float that DWAC has, right? It's about 10% of the float. So there are quite a few shorts in DWAC, and we'll pull up PHUN as well for the short interest there and see what it's at. Probably not as high. Yeah, so PHUN had a short interest of 4%, or 3.71 million shares, so not nearly as many people shorting PHUN as DWAC, but still a decent amount. And I think that's probably because PHUN is a more established company, right? They've been around for a while. They're not just recently IPOing, and I think a lot of people, their complaint about DWAC is that they don't have any product or revenues yet. So a lot of the shorts are essentially saying DWAC is worthless, and so they're going to short it. And they think that it's just moved up on hype. And to an extent, they're right, that it has moved up on hype. But the fact that it has so many supporters, just for the stock price alone, means that likely there will be a lot of supporters for whatever services they end up providing in the future. So, I mean, that is kind of a built-in value that they've got right there, you know. Whereas most companies, if they were going public, and launching their services, they'd have to do a lot of marketing. They'd have to spend a lot of money to acquire customers. DWAC will probably not have to do that much, right? I could see them definitely just getting a bunch of customers, kind of similar to if you look at their stock price, how as soon as they announced this was the SPAC taking TMTG public, they just shot up. I could definitely see that happening with their user count. Now, it will be interesting to see if they're able to maintain the servers, right? If the servers that they have will crash because of how many users they have logging on all at once they make it public. It'll be interesting. It could happen, but obviously that wouldn't be too long-term of a problem. Hopefully not. And Kitchener Leslie says NAKD and PROG moving back up. We'll take a peek at that. NAKD. So yeah, PROG, or NAKD, yeah, up to 57 cents per share. So they did take a tumble yesterday. They took a tumble and they officially broke the pattern that we were knowing and loving of these higher highs and higher lows We'll take a peek at the maybe 180 day would be better right there. So unfortunately, they did break the pattern. We have to move this down now to here. So they officially broke the pattern out for the higher lows. So they did dip. We'll see. Maybe this is just a slight break of the pattern and they'll bounce right back up. But potentially we should be watching out for the upside as well. We don't know if they're going to continue up to higher highs now that this pattern is officially broken. So it's looking a little bit worse. I'm still holding NAKDM down a little bit on it, obviously. It's not the largest position, so I'm not too worried about it. I think that there is a lot of EV hype, and they could definitely be doing good. But PROG, up 1% on the day. So it looks like they had a little bounce off of 299 actually earlier this morning. It looks like PHUN is continuing to bounce off of $4, and DWAC got to 54, and that's where it bounced, and now it's bouncing back to 50. This could act as support. We could see DWAC starting to take itself and PHUN back up if it bounces off of 50. That would not surprise me. Obviously, it could get pushed down. It's been pretty volatile. It hasn't used 50 as the strongest support or resistance. You can see a little bit of that right here, and a little slowdown when they moved past 50 the first time. Maybe a little bit of support being acted on, but we'll see what happens this time. I mean, obviously, they have been bouncing around it quite a bit. So supports and resistances aren't always perfect. Sometimes they will just get traded through instead of traded on. So we'll see what happens with them. But overall, I'm not too worried about it. And as for the poll results have just changed. Now we have 166 votes in, and 36% of the people in the poll are most bullish on DWAC, 11% on PHUN, 34% on Sundial, and 19% on AMC. So we have officially knocked off Sundial from the top stock on this list, and potentially that is due to, part of that is maybe my fault for the title being about DWAC and PHUN first, and then Sundial is the third stock mentioned in the title, so maybe we're just getting more viewers who are interested in DWAC, so no surprise. But there we go. DWAC has officially ousted Sundial as the stock people are most bullish on, at least in this stream, of the 166 people who have voted, so we'll see. Kroger asks Silver. Kroger. I used to shop at Kroger, and then they got rid of their store. So let's see. Kroger Co. KR. Yeah, Kroger up 10% on good earnings, it looks like. Geez, not even that massive of an earnings beat. I mean, it's a decent earnings beat, but wow. Yeah, they've been doing good. Whew, over the past year, they've been doing quite well. Yeah, so Kroger doing well. Kroger's doing really good over the past year. Let's see, the past 2 years. Even better. Even better for Kroger. Yep, Kroger. I mean, some of the old reliables, right? You wouldn't think of these as huge growers, but it's definitely done pretty good. I mean, a lot of stocks have done pretty good over the past. Wow, Kroger's done really well ever since it looks like 2012. It's just been, then there was some volatility around 2016 and 17. So not been as big a grower as a lot of the tech stocks, but it's certainly done very well. Sundial is continuing to dip down, though. That's not what we want to see. We don't want to see Sundial moving back down to the lows of day. I would much rather have it had it stayed above 60 cents. Although, let's see what the Sundial call options are looking like, or put options actually. So the put options actually got cheaper as Sundial moved down. Weird stuff. And Hero says Express Inc. running up 26%. Yeah, we took a peek at it. And after swinging to a profit and beat expectations by a wide margin. Yep, we were looking at that. And Chess Melody, you forgot CRTX short squeeze. We'll take a peek at CRTX. So it's down about 5% on the day. But yeah, I've definitely heard that people are getting excited about CRTX. It is at a 46% short interest as a percentage of the free float. And 8.38 million shares are currently shorted right now. So it looks like a couple of shorts have closed their positions, but not that many. Not that many. And it has actually, it looks like, caused a little bit of a rise in stock price. So that is cool stuff. So we'll see if we can't continue that. It looks like some shorts, when were they shorting? So a lot of them were potentially shorting. Some shorts, obviously, were in here before the big dump, and they're up on big money. But a lot of shorts, it looks like, increased their position when it was trading around $18-20 as well as $15. Okay, so yeah, a lot of shorts in there. And Shane Gold, Sundial is not a good investment. Let it go. I don't know about that. I think that they've got a bunch of big catalysts. I mean, just because they've been manipulated by institutions and shorted massively doesn't mean that they won't rise in the future when they have their big catalysts coming out, right? When they actually get legalization. I mean, you can see even today they're getting shorted more, and this is exactly what the institutions want, right? They want to short Sundial right now, push it down even more, make it cheap, make people sell, and sell probably to them so that they can cover their short positions, and then maybe even buy up some shares long over the next couple of weeks and months. And then when legalization hits, they'll let it ride to the moon. But I'm just going to hold on to mine. I mean, I'd rather hold on to mine than risk selling now and trying to buy back in later. But I think that Sundial's going up pretty darn high, especially once we get legalization. I mean, Sundial, and we've got share buybacks for Sundial. They just had good earnings even without legalization, so I'm not worried about Sundial over the long term at all. I think Sundial is going to do very well. And Vivi Ruddick, good morning, man. Good morning. And BHP building support, says Silver. BHP. We'll pull that up. Pull up BHP. So, yeah, it looks like it is. We're seeing potentially some support around 56, 56.50, maybe even at 57, which is where we're sitting now. So, yeah, they are consolidating. It wouldn't surprise me to see them staying above 52 for quite a while. What happened with them, though? I don't know why so they're miners. Okay, yep. So they ended up getting pushed down potentially on just gold getting pushed down. Interesting. Well, what are they a miner of? Actually, I should look into this. So metal companies, I'm guessing they're a miner of some sort, but we'll see what happens with them over the next while. I think that, yeah, they're building some support at 52. Obviously, if metals go down more, then there's no stopping them, right? That's just how these miners trade. But what was the next one? LGVN. Yeah, we'll take a peek at LGVN. So this was trading below $5 for a while on Chevron. I know I've looked at this in the past. I forget exactly what they do company-wise, but I think this is a short squeeze play. I'm pretty sure. Let me take a peek at the short interest on Chevron. So yeah, no kidding. This is a short squeeze play. 81% short interest as a percentage of the free float. 2.21 million shares shorted. 100% utilization. So shorts have used all the ammo they've got on LGVN to keep it as low as possible. And it doesn't look like that's been enough. I mean, they have pushed it down a bit from the highs at 45, but it's still up massively. And maybe this was a pharmaceutical play, actually. I think initially, did they get some kind of pharmaceutical approval? And that led to a big run-up in price? Yeah, FDA granted rare pediatric disease designation. That's right. And now they're heavily shorted, and they're potentially a short squeeze. That's right. So, yeah, LGVN, it could be doing good. I mean, obviously, they got FDA approval. That tends to run stocks up a little bit higher than is justifiable, just off the hype, off the momentum. And maybe that's what we saw at $45, but now there are a lot of shorts in there. And if people take to LGVN and decide to push it up purposefully just to squeeze out shorts, then it could definitely move higher. So it's possible. Let's see what SPY is doing. It looks like SPY is recovering a bit, though only temporarily. And DWAC looks like maybe bouncing off of 47 again. PHUN will be moving down with it, it looks like, for hopefully not too long. It looks like we have been seeing some pain in all of these stocks, though, over the past couple of minutes. And in SPY as well, right? All stocks are suffering at the moment. Ever since 10, just about, stocks have been moving down in a fairly large way. So we'll see. We'll see. And Kyle Cooper, have a good day. Going to pull a Brad Pitt and Money Paul and leave the baseball diamond for the morning. Hope PHUN breaks above mid-4s. Yeah, that would be nice. But let me check. What news we had coming out today, if there was anything at 10. Oh. You know what? It might have been the Fed member Quarles speaking that did this. Let's see real quick, though. Let's pull this up and see if it was at 10 when he was going to speak. No, I don't think so. I think when is he speaking? In 40 minutes from now? So at 11, it looks like he's going to be speaking. Yeah, so at 11, we've got U.S. Federal Open Market Committee member Quarles speaking. I know he's an important guy. He's the Federal Reserve Governor, Randall Quarles. His public engagements are often used to drop subtle clues regarding future monetary policy. and he will be speaking today at 11. So we'll have to see what he says, if it's good news or bad. But also, something that happened today that we've got is the U.S. initial jobless claims. Those came out today. Those came out at 8:30. So we're actually reporting on this a little bit late, but they were forecast to be 240,000. They were only 222,000. So all in all, we beat the expectations, but it was higher than last month, which was a record-breaking number. We haven't had jobless claims that low in a long, long time. So 199,000 was extremely low for us. And I think they actually upwardly revised that. I think it was lower at one point, 169. So, we'll see what goes on with the jobless claims, if that has had any effect. It looks like maybe it was boosting us up a little bit because it was beating expectations, but now stocks are starting to move down just a touch. Airliners up 5%, says Silver. American Airlines, let's see, yeah, up 2% on that. And I think Boeing, where is Boeing? BA, that's it, up 2.83%. United, let's see. United Airlines, yeah, up 2.5 or 2%, it looks like. Yeah, so airliners are doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. I'm thinking folks are going to pull their kids out of schools. Folks, school board members in January. It could be. That's possible. I don't know if anyone wants to go back to online learning, though. I don't know if anybody wants that. I know that was not good for children, definitely doing the online learning, and they did not enjoy it. And as someone who was partaking in online education myself, I did not enjoy it. I think it's very nice to be able to get into class and actually do something in person and see people. It's very beneficial, I think, for the learning experience. So, Tyler Mike, Sundial barcoded for 10 days at 101 and 102, then dropped just to make compliance. Thoughts? Yeah, so I think, yeah, they did way back when. We'll see. I mean, obviously, they did that in the past. We've got to pull out the year chart for this. So back then, they definitely stopped at 101 and 102 a couple of times. I think the close on this day was literally $1, and the close on this day was $1. So they did make compliance back then, and we'll see if they can do it again. Right? They definitely might pull something out. They might be hoping that retail will take them up to over $1. Right? They might be hoping for that, and then they will use the share buybacks to keep themselves over $1. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. They definitely could move up to $1. I'm thinking they will by February. When they would otherwise be delisted if they didn't. So I'm not too worried about Sundial. I think they're going to be doing good. And DWAC, it's looking like it's finding some support at 47, the lows of the day. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's up 6% at the moment. PHUN is faring, I will say, a little bit better than DWAC. It's up 12% just about, and DWAC is up 6.5%. So we'll see what goes on with it. Last time Sundial made compliance, it barcoded 101 and 102, then dropped on the 10th day. Thoughts? You think this is done by CEO's help? I think that, yeah, the CEO probably has something to do with it. Obviously, he doesn't want the stock to get delisted. And then they could do it again. And I would be happy if they helped it on its way up to $1 with some share buybacks and helped it stay above $1. I would be happy for that. I would be surprised, though, if they got up above $1 and then started dropping afterwards. I think that once Sundial really starts moving up, I think that will be the long-term uptrend we've all been waiting for. And it's been a while. It has been a while. But I think that the days of these little pumps are likely behind us. I think that we're getting pushed down too cheap, and legalization is coming too soon. Maybe we'll have to wait until legalization to start seeing the long-term uptrend. Maybe. But it would make sense if big buyers were coming in before then, expecting legalization, and that's what would put us in a big uptrend, right? If people in expectations that we would potentially see legalization, maybe as more people start discussing it in the House and Senate, as that happens, potentially we would start seeing more of an uptrend just as people are building their anticipation for it to actually happen. And Abstract says, if that happens again, I'll sell some and buy back more when it hits 80 cents. Yeah, that could be it. That could be a move. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. I'm hopeful for Sundial stock. I think, maybe we'll see a bounce up to $1 and then down to 80. It depends on how soon it is, right? If it's tomorrow, then maybe we could see a little bit of volatility and get in and out of it. Okay, and Congress kicks the can down the road. Debt ceiling deadline of December 15th, now February 15th. All right. So did they just raise it temporarily? Let's see. Congress debt ceiling. And we got to get the most recent news on this. So let's see. So, no, we don't want that. So do we need this from the past? Is this, how recent is this? Let's see if it's, okay. Okay, so CNN says, tomorrow's the deadline to avoid a shutdown. It looks like, did they delay it? So, only way to avoid a shutdown is for all 100 senators to agree to schedule a vote before the deadline. Okay. In the House, Democrats have announced their own plan, which would provide funding through February 18th. The chamber is expected to vote as soon as Thursday, though the real issue for quick passage is in the Senate. So let's take a peek at this news right here. Live update. 3 minutes ago, this came out. In the House, Democrats have announced their own plan, which would provide funding through February 18th. The chamber is expected to vote as soon as Thursday, though the real issue for quick passage is in the Senate. So, wow. Yeah, they might be just delaying it. They might just be delaying it, though I don't know if it's confirmed yet. I think they're just attempting to kick the can down the road. So we'll see what happens with that, if they can end up doing it or not. Ameritrade news. Okay. So let's see. Ameritrade news. Is that news on SPY or where would it be? But at least 3 minutes ago on CNN, they were talking about a potential pushback. So we've got that at least. And it looks like, let's see what's going on with the cryptos. They haven't moved all that much. The cryptos are relatively the same as where we left them last time. Bitcoin down 3% now. Ethereum down 3.5%. Shiba Inu down 8%. So yeah, a lot of these cryptos are suffering. Crypto.com coin, though, down a little bit also today. It looks like its big rally may be over. We'll see. It's not made new lows over the past month yet, though, so we'll see what it can do. It's still up off of its most recent rally. It's up at around 71 cents a coin right now. And who knows how big of a coin Crypto.com coin is going to become. I know they have a lot of advertising out for them. So we'll see what they do. And it's good to see DWAC settling at 47 instead of dropping below. And Sundial also may be experiencing a little bit of a bounce. It looks like with the markets, DWAC and PHUN have settled, and Sundial might be joining the markets, moving to the upside. We'll see. Looks like maybe the markets will be making new highs on the day. Potentially. We're getting close to up 1% on SPY. We'll see if we can do it. And Anthony Roca, PTN. We'll check out PTN. So, Palatin Technologies at 58 cents per share, up 2.6 cents on the day, or 2.6% on the day, I should say. It looks like they recently started bouncing off of 32 cents. So, watching shares of Palatin Technologies. Traders circulate seeking alpha blog post from contributor Biotech Labs blog titled COVID-19 Play PTN to develop a potential treatment for COVID and lung complications. All right, okay, so that might be an interesting play, especially if the new variant gets significantly worse. That could be good. We'll see what happens with PTN, though. We'll see what happens. It obviously was much higher. It was up almost to $1 at one point. It was up to 95 cents before it got pushed down. And in fact, if we look at the 30-day, it was actually above $1. At $1.02 intraday, it got there to $1.02. So, you know, it has potential to move up again, right? It took a little bit of a breather. It moved down. It looks like they might be bouncing off of near 50 cents. And potentially we could see another move up in PTN. We'll have to keep an eye on that one from time to time. I'll check back on it. But it's not one of the main ones that we're looking at today. We're mostly looking at Sundial, DWAC, and PHUN for the most part. And we've got SPY pulled up as well. So let me check and just see what CFVI, I believe it was. So it looks like they have seen a little bit of volatility. They haven't just been moving down in a straight line, but they are finding some support at 11, it looks like. Hopefully they won't move down too much lower. A lot of the time these IPOs do see some initial hype and they pump up big in the pre-market and then they sell off during the trading day. That's what we saw with SBEA and not what we saw with DWAC. Definitely not what we saw there. But I think the following of DWAC is potentially bigger than CFVI, right? Some people use Rumble, some people love Rumble, but there's not necessarily a huge Rumble following that's willing to buy Rumble stock, right? Maybe some people would be interested in it, and obviously a lot of people were in the pre-market at least. So we'll see what happens throughout the course of the day, if it keeps rising or if it ends up returning close to $10. We'll see what happens there. SPY doing pretty good, though. Back up over 1%. So the markets are doing good, and it looks like it's taking Sundial with it. Sundial is starting to rebound a bit, up 3% on the day. Not sad to see it. It definitely needs to see it probably a couple of these days in a row, many of these up 3% days in a row to get to a fair valuation. It would need to go up quite a bit, I think. But, the hope is that this could be the bottom for Sundial. Hopefully that we bottomed out at around 55 or 56 cents per share yesterday, and that's the lowest we'll go. I know people are tired of seeing the pain in Sundial stock and getting burnt on it, but I think that institutions at this point realize that they have the chance to push it down quite a bit and then grab up some shares and cover for cheap. They can scare people out right before the good news. I think they want to do it. I think a lot of people have been holding, awaiting legalization, and now that it's close by, it looks like institutions are striking and just pushing it down even more. So Kitchener Leslie says the Truth Social beta had Rumble in its source code. Interesting. So yeah, we've actually got some DWAC news here. Came out last night, but I'll share it now. Shares in DWAC are up on news that it has agreed to increase more than 24%. Okay, after a report that they're seeking to raise $1 billion. And people familiar with the matter say the entity is looking to raise up to $1 billion from hedge funds and others in a private investment tied to the SPAC known as a PIPE, or Private Investment in Public Equity. DWAC shares jumped just before the close on Wednesday, and DWAC representatives are trying to sell PIPE shares for $30 apiece, says MarketWatch, which would push the company to a $3 billion valuation, according to the report, which one source attended a recent roadshow seeking to drum up funding for the PIPE. So Reuters reported that many Wall Street firms did not attend the roadshows, which were instead largely populated by representatives from hedge funds, family offices, and high net worth individuals, and that attendees were shown a demonstration of a service called Truth Social that resembled Twitter. So cool stuff. So they were actually shown potentially some examples of what Truth Social will look like, maybe ahead of time, to inspire some investments. And Brazil A. Rob, appreciate the everyday knowledge, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate that for sure. My pleasure, man. And I just read Trump mentioned DWAC on Fox. Wow. Let's see what we can find on that. Let's see what we can find. So, let's see. So, could this... No, that's not what we want. Okay, maybe he did. I can't find it, but... Oh, hold on. So, in an effort to open up the thing, there's no small thing. This isn't Vox. All right. Well, I'm sure he mentioned it. But, when news is this new, it's tough to find, even on Google. The algorithm isn't all that helpful. It's tough to get the right keywords in there, but AQST got a $28 price target and has a PDUFA coming, and it's at $5. What the heck? Lol, says Mac Attack. We'll take a peek at AQST. We'll see what AQST is up to. We've been looking at it for a bit. I think they have the, December FDA decision date. Is that coming out soon? It looks like they took a big beating yesterday, as did most stocks. So yeah, bouncing off of 6 or bouncing down below 6. Now they're down to 550. Oof. Jeez. Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me. So where did they get that FDA or that raise in price target. Who's to say? $20 price target, though. And NJ says, complete speculation. First of all, thank you, NJ, for the super chat. I appreciate that. And complete speculation. Is it possible Rumble going public is a way for Trump to raise more funds by then having Truth Social acquire Rumble? Raise more funds by then having... Oh, I see. Is a way for Trump to raise more funds by having Truth Social acquire Rumble eventually. So I'm trying to think how that would work out. Potentially. I mean, potentially if he acquired Rumble... well, if he was acquiring a company, I believe he'd have to pay, more for the cash that the company has. So if Rumble ends up going public, and it's possible, I could see a merger down the line. Maybe, if I guess. Oh, I see. Maybe you're saying is the reason Trump is raising more funds so that Truth Social can acquire Rumble. That could be too. I mean, who's to say why he's raising more funds? Maybe he does want to buy out Rumble. Let's see what the market cap on CFV or CVFI is, and see how much he would have to pay to buy out all of CVFI. That's an interesting thought, NJ. CVFI, I think, right? CFVI. That's it. So, market cap is currently 446 million. Let's see what we've got. So, transaction values Rumble at an enterprise value of 2.1 billion. All right, so Rumble is going public. It looks like with probably like 15 or so percent of their market, given it to CFVI for the 300 million that they were able to raise. So the transaction values them at 2.1 billion. Yeah, so potentially, if Trump wanted to, he could buy around half of Rumble with the billion that he's trying to raise. But I don't think he'd want to use all of it to acquire Rumble, right? Maybe he would want to buy into Rumble a little bit. Obviously, he would have the opportunity, I think, once TMTG is officially public, to use some of the capital. He could invest some of it, if he wished, in Rumble stock once that's officially trading under the new ticker symbol. What will the ticker symbol be? I don't know if they've said yet. But once it changes from CFVI to whatever the Rumble ticker symbol is going to be, then he could buy up some shares of it and just invest the cash in there in the meantime, use some of the other cash to develop Truth Social, but the cash that's unneeded in the meantime, I mean, I don't know if he needs $1 billion just to develop Truth Social. There's only so many coders you can have working on the thing. Obviously, he could market it, but I think he's doing pretty good marketing-wise. I think a lot of people know already, just from what the media is going to cover on it. So maybe he'll park some cash in Rumble. We'll have to see. That's definitely a possibility, though. And Silver says, my first post on Truth Social will be, welcome back, Freedom. We've missed you. I bet a lot of people will be posting that. And Tyler Mike says, bought FCell when it was 80 cents, sold it at $25. Sundial is doing the same thing FCell did. I hope so. That's an awesome gain, though, Tyler. That's incredible. That's awesome. And AQST on sale, says Jared, will probably double by next week for the PDUFA. It could do well. It's certainly getting pushed down right now, and we can check the short interest on it. AQST. We'll check the short interest on it, but let's see. So the current short interest is not that large. It looks like a lot of people may have been getting out of their short positions. Yeah, so it's just been decreasing. It looks like shorts really don't want much part of this, right? It's 2.33% short interest as a percentage of the free float, less than 1 million shares short, and only a 40% utilization. So shorts could certainly be shorting a lot more if they wish. And Lockout 469, can someone explain to me why the stock market crashed? So the direct cause, at least, I mean, obviously, the markets, if you look, we'll pull up the markets over DWAC for a minute, SPY. So if you look back over the past year, they were already experiencing a bit of trouble. We were already trending down a touch, but we were on the path to recovery potentially. However, Fed Powell had a meeting. And first of all, we were trending down because of the Omicron variant. A lot of people are worried about the new variant of COVID that's going around, potentially getting people sick, maybe doing some more lockdowns because of it. People are worried about that. And so the markets are moving down because of that. But also, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell came out with a meeting one day. He testified in front of Congress, I believe, and started scaling back on the inflation being transitory talks, right? He said that inflation might not be transitory after all, that we might be seeing more inflation than expected. So that's another reason why markets have been moving down. People are worried about inflation. They're worried about the markets doing poorly because of potential lockdowns. And obviously, we've been seeing some supply chain issues lately. And inflation and lockdowns would be a very bad combination, because what the government was doing in the past to combat the lockdowns and the pain those were causing was printing a ton of money and handing it out. And if the government has to combat inflation at the same time, it could be very difficult for them to figure out how to do both of those things at once, because the responses that they should be using to combat the lockdowns are the exact opposite as the responses that they should be using to combat inflation, right? They should be printing money to combat lockdowns and removing money from circulation to combat inflation. So it could be a tough situation. I forget the exact term. I think stagflation is the term that's used for when you see excessive inflation and excessive unemployment, because typically the two are opposites, right? The lower the unemployment, the higher the inflation, and the higher the employment, the more, I think it's the more inflation you get, right? I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it would be scary to see it go the opposite way, and it creates a tough situation for the government. They don't know exactly what to do in those circumstances. They haven't developed too good of a system for dealing with it. So that's why people are worried about the markets right now. And we'll see what happens with those. Obviously, they're doing decently today. They had a big red day yesterday. So people are not completely unfearful yet, right? People are still selling quite a bit. So DWAC did move down below 47. We'll see. It's sticking at 46 right now. It's up 4.68%. And PHUN at 355. So we'll see if these can maintain their levels. And stagflation, says Kitchener Leslie. And Lockout says, thanks for the explanation. For sure. Yeah, PHUN is, surprisingly enough, doing better than DWAC. It has been throughout the course of the day. That wasn't the case in the morning, I don't believe. But PHUN is up 9%, whereas DWAC is up 4.16%. And it's a possibility that people are more interested in PHUN at the moment, because PHUN has other things going for it besides the Trump pump, right? People may want to expose themselves, one, to a stock that is exposed to Trump's social media corporation, right? To TMTG. And, potentially exposed, right? We don't know for sure that they're going to have a partnership with them, but it seems fairly likely at this point. They've been trading synonymously with DWAC for a long time, so they have some exposure to that, but they also have an existing business that isn't just reliant on Truth Social. They have their light computers that they sell. They have PhunCoin and their blockchain that they're working on. So they've got a bit going for them, other than TMTG and the potential Trump pump. So maybe some people are looking to get a little bit more exposure to PHUN for those reasons. And it is a potential play. Obviously, if it was announced that they had no connection to Trump, then the stock price would fall dramatically, right? Because most of this pump is due to the potential Trump connection. So we'll see what happens with them over the next couple of weeks. But they've been beating DWAC today, at least, which is not what we used to see. We used to see DWAC beating out PHUN. So we'll see if that continues. And guys, I will point out we've got 113 viewers at the moment and 137 likes. Potentially, if we could get another 13 likes on the stream, we could get up to 150 likes. That would be appreciated. If 13 people wanted to go down and hit the like button real quick, just to help out the algorithm to get this stream out to a couple more people, that would be appreciated. I would love that if we could do it. We've got already one like coming in, so 138, 141. It's already climbing quite a bit. You guys might not even have the chance to hit the like button fast enough to get in before 150 likes. So we're getting pretty darn close. We'll see if we can do it. And Joey Salog says 1 in the chat. He says 1. He will give me 1 like. I take it. So we'll see what happens with that. But looks like PHUN holding at 350 decently. Looks like they're getting a little bounce. They're up to 352. And DWAC holding at 46. So hopefully neither of these will drop too much more. We could actually even turn red today. And Sundial is done, says Guncat. And Buy the Dip says, oh snap, let me like the video. Yes, for sure. I'd appreciate that. And The Wandering Mariner, thanks for the reminder on the like. Love the channel, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for liking the stream. But yeah, Sundial looks like hitting the lows of the intraday. So on the opening bell, we hit lows of 57 cents per share, and Sundial is hitting 57 again. It looks like we're getting a little bounce, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with Sundial. Tough to say what's going to happen with it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not going down too low. Hopefully it won't make new lows of day. It looks like it's using that level that it hit at 57 for support. The goal is to not get any lower than that, I guess. I mean, granted, the lower it goes, it just gets cheaper. So, there's potential buying opportunity. Let me take a peek at the Sundial put options. Looks like they're still a little bit cheaper than they were earlier today. For 19 cents, you could be selling the 50-cent 2023 puts. December 17th. Yeah. So unfortunately, I mean, Sundial, it's getting closer to 50 cents than you would think. I was really not expecting Sundial to get so darn close to 50 cents. But a lot of the institutions are probably holding Sundial down because they've been selling these call options, likely naked on it. We've got 100,000 call options sold at the December 17th strike date for $1. So institutions definitely don't want it up before then, which is in just 15 days. So those will likely expire worthless, unfortunately. Looks like institutions will probably have their way with Sundial. Now, January 21st could be a different story. We've actually got 269,000 $1 call options on Sundial at $1. At $1, 130,000 at $4, and 115,000 at $7. So we'll see. We'll see where Sundial can go. There are quite a few open interest calls on it, and it looks like at the moment, at the very least, it is bouncing. And Zach Taylor said, just grab some CFVI and CFVIW. We'll see if those pay off. CFVI looks like is at 1182, still up 21% today. It looks like it did have a successful bounce off of $11. It tested it a couple of times, but it eventually did bounce off of 11. We'll see if that continues to hold throughout the day. And Abstract says, I thought 61 was the bottom for Sundial. I would have hoped. I would have hoped. It looks like it just got pushed down on that really red day when the markets were crashing too. So yeah, it did bounce off of 61 the day before. And it looks like we were rebounding, but man, it just got crushed. And, more shorts have been piling in. So we'll pull up the short interest on Sundial. But even today, we've got some shorts coming in to Sundial stock. 2.14% increase in short interest today, bringing us to 14.53% of the free float being shorted. 298.5 million shares, getting very close to 300 million again. So yeah, the shorts are relentless, just pushing Sundial down. I guess trying to scare people out, scare Sundial into a little crash so that they can take profits before legalization happens. I mean, they'd have to be pretty dumb to get caught with this many shares short when legalization happens. I just can't imagine them doing that. They must know that Sundial would move up huge on it. Obviously, they probably think they've got some time. They probably think they've got a couple of months at least. And they probably do. Politicians are slow to act a lot of the time. And there we go. We got to 150 likes. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. And we've got on the poll 221 votes on this poll. And 36% say DWAC is the stock they're most bullish on. 12% say PHUN. 32% say Sundial. And 20% say AMC. And Zane Bischoff, RN, what's the DWAC short situation? We'll take a peek at that. I know it's pretty high. There are quite a few shorts in DWAC stock. So we can take a peek right here. And we'll see that there are quite a few shorts in DWAC. 9.93% of the free float is shorted, 2.98 million shares. And short interest change, 0.41%. So not that many more shorts coming in today. But still, about 10% of the free float is shorted, and that's almost 100% of the utilization. So as many shorts as can get in DWAC are in DWAC. Now, a lot of them have their positions, they originated them at higher prices, around 60, 70 bucks, potentially even 100 bucks. We don't have data stretching back that far, but we started at around 11% short interest when DWAC was trading around 50 to 60 bucks. So a lot of those shorts may have gotten in at higher prices. So we'll see. how high we have to get before we actually start squeezing some of them out. Some did cover when DWAC moved down to the low 40s. So some shorts have covered already, but not many. We could definitely, if DWAC rose a ton, definitely squeeze some of them out. It would have to rise quite a bit, though, to actually get to the point where they would be worried about losing money. We'd have to rise above 70 at least, and then likely higher than that to actually start squeezing out shorts. Shorts will probably suffer a loss for a bit. And it looks like Sundial coming back just a little bit. We're up 2.23%, up to 57.8. Hopefully we'll get up to 58 cents. There we go. We're up to 58 cents. So hopefully we'll be doing good with Sundial for the rest of the day. I know we're sick and tired of seeing Sundial getting pushed down and manipulated, but that just seems to be the running gag with Sundial. Shorts push it down to these incredibly cheap valuations. It doesn't even seem justifiable in any stretch of the imagination to have Sundial trading at 58 cents, especially after their most recent earnings call, where they were making money, right? 58 cents. I mean, they were making money per share, right? They're making, I think, 1 cent per share. So, granted, it's not the lowest PE, but it's still really good for a growth stock that isn't even legal in the United States yet. So really cool stuff. And, they are acquiring Alcana. So I think they could be doing really well in the future, especially if they get that boost from Alcana and if they can start putting their products in Nova Cannabis's dispensaries, which Alcana owns a majority of, which, if Sundial's acquiring them, then no reason they wouldn't start selling their own products in those dispensaries. And Kitchener Leslie says Sundial is the Rodney Dangerfield of stocks. It certainly seems like it. I never watched too much Rodney Dangerfield, but here's to hoping that Sundial keeps on going. So, day trade profit, big PHUN bull, says BB. Okay, yeah, PHUN, it's still up 10%, so anyone in the stock as of yesterday is making money, even if you got in late around the close, right? If you were in when it was below 3 at 286 or 287, then you're up pretty darn big. It's up to 366. You made a pretty significant gain on that. It was already up big yesterday come the close, and, granted, it's not as good of a sale as you could have gotten if you were up at 4 in the morning and sold for $4.88 at the peak. But if you didn't do that, then you're still up pretty big on PHUN. So, I'm not too worried about PHUN. I think as long as they don't announce that they're not tied to TMTG, they should be doing pretty good. And Kitchener Leslie, Rodney was famous for not getting any respect. Yeah, I've heard the meme. No respect. Yeah. I don't know if it's a meme or so much just as his bit where he says that, but yeah, I've heard that actually. So let's see. The markets are doing okay. QQQ moving down a little bit actually. We'll pull that up. So the tech stocks are suffering a little bit. It looks like they're still selling off. There was a bit of a rebound earlier today, but tech stocks have been getting hit hard. And let's pull up on FinViz. We can see the markets. We'll see what the markets are looking like, if they're looking bloody, and what sectors are looking bloody, if any. Okay, so pretty much everything is green if you take a peek at this, except for some of the bigger tech companies and some semiconductor stocks. NVIDIA is actually squeezing out a little gain on the day. Tesla is down 2.9%. Facebook is down 1%. Apple's down 3%. Microsoft down 0.5%. Google's up. It's squeezing out a 0.43% gain. And Adobe, Oracle doing decently. Synopsys Inc. is doing pretty good. But the semiconductors are getting hurt. And it looks like, for the most part, the markets are pretty green, other than those big tech companies. So not much to complain about unless you're in tech today. Everything else, everything that we're watching except for QQQ is green. So it's looking pretty good. BB says, yes, sir, money face. Yep. I think, we should hopefully, we'll see. We still got the last of December. My hope would be that people will have tax loss harvested by the end of the next couple of days, maybe the end of this week. People, if they're going to tax loss harvest, will have done it already, and we can see the bleeding end. Maybe some of the fears about the new variant will be dispelled as well, and the markets can start moving back up. But people are worried about inflation, and I'll pull up the VIX real quick so that we can see what the VIX is doing. I'll pull it up over DWAC actually. But the VIX definitely rose quite a bit yesterday, and we're getting pretty darn high. I mean, we haven't been this high in many months. Not since January have we been this high on the VIX. So, scary stuff to think of, but you know, there's the potential that this could continue rising. There is the potential. It's never looked like there's been as much potential for the markets to move down in a big way as there is now. Obviously, at any point, the markets could turn around, start moving up again, and the SPY even is doing decently, and that's why the VIX is down today. But tech stocks are still moving down, and it's not surprising to see if the markets are in a downtrend. And we'll pull up the SPY for this. It wouldn't be surprising to see a couple of green bars on the way down, just to give people a little bit of hope where there might not be any. So, you know, hopefully we don't drop too much more. I am actually shorting the markets a little bit. I'm shorting the markets a little bit with SQQQ and SPUX, I think it is. So I am shorting the markets a touch. I'm up on those positions right now because I was in before yesterday when we had that big red day. And we'll see if we can't get a couple more. I obviously don't want to stay in those positions too long because over the long term the markets go up. But for the time being, I'm content with a small short position on the markets. We'll see what happens with it. Kitchener Leslie, I want to see my doctor, Dr. Vinny Boombats. I don't understand this story, but it seems interesting. People in the comments will appreciate it. People in the comments will appreciate that, yep. So, let's see if there's anything else. Let's see if DWAC has moved up on Ape Wisdom. No, it's taken a little bit of a breather on Ape Wisdom as well. CFVI is now the top trending stock, and DWAC and PHUN still remaining at 3 and 4. Like I said, it would be tough to supplant SPY and AMC. They would need quite a few more mentions to get above SPY and AMC in a short period of time. I don't know if if they started spiking up huge, then maybe they could, but AMC just has such a big following that people are going to be excited to see it when it's moving big like it is today. It's not even moving big anymore. It looks like it took a turn for the worst. It was up 8%, and then it dipped down. It bounced off of 27, so is that a new low? No, not quite. So they had a bounce off of 27 yesterday, but technically got down to 26.85, and they just saw another bounce off of 27. This could be bad. And Tim Boone, did you stay in NAKD, Rob? I certainly did. NAKD looks like we are potentially on the way back up, but yeah, you can see I'm down $81. Not too worried about the $81, right? But I've still got the 2,000 shares. I ended up getting them for an average cost of 61 cents per share. I bought some at 62 and some at 60, so it averaged out to 61, and I'm content to hold it for a bit. I think that, obviously a lot of stocks got hurt yesterday when the markets were getting hurt. I could see this going down even more a little bit if the markets continue to go down. But over the next couple of months, I think that once this central automotive hype really sets in, then we could see higher prices, at least above 65, if not 70 cents. I could see us doing that. So we'll see what happens with it. Not sure why I've got that line there, but there we go. So NAKD, I'm hopeful for. And Abstract Artemis says, I've thought about opening a margin account on Webull and shorting some stocks. Yeah, it could be. I'm not literally shorting. Not literally shorting the market though. I'll explain what I'm doing. So you see in the bottom left chart, there's QQQ, and that is an ETF tracking a lot of the big tech stocks in the S&P 500. And then what you can do, you don't even have to short it. If you'd like a leveraged short position against it, is you trade SQQQ, which is a 3x leveraged short against SQQQ. So if, say, QQQ goes up 1%, SQQQ goes down 3%. But if QQQ goes down 1%, then SQQQ goes up 3%. So you can see the chart right here of SQQQ. It's basically just been moving down the whole year because the market's been moving up. But more recently, over the past couple of days, it's been moving up because QQQ has been moving down. So you do have the potential to make some profit on it. And you don't even need to open up a real short position, which I like doing this a lot more because it does cap your losses out. The lowest this can go is 0, so you're not going to lose more money than you put in. which is always a scary thing with shorts, even though, if you're shorting an ETF like QQQ, it's unlikely that it would go up more than 100% in a short time frame. You'd have a chance to cover most likely, but I just don't like the idea of it. And Kitchener Leslie says, why is AMC so popular? Who goes to movies during a pandemic? Half the country hates Hollywood. Yeah, I think people are in it for the short squeeze for the most part. And Abstract Artemis says, my fear is getting margin called and losing money. Yeah, that's another thing I don't like about short positions. And the upside to SQQQ is you can't get margin called unless you're literally using margin on it. You can't get margin called because you're just buying a stock and you can write it down to zero if you wish. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I think, because it does have a trend of just decaying over time because of the way it's structured and the leverage that it has. It tracks monthly call options, so there is just some natural decay in it. But that's the situation with SQQQ. So Lillian Gaboda says, hey, Rob, any information on Cannabo Group, KNB at all? Let's take a peek at KNB. Looks like there's no symbol for it on the NASDAQ. It must be an over-the-counter. So let me pull up Google and see what we can find. Let's see what we've got on Cannabo Group. So it looks like they've got a $49 million market cap, no profile, so I don't know what they do. Their losses widen on higher costs. Let's see what KNB is doing over the long term. Let's see if we can't find a chart of it. So it looks like they've been downtrending over the past year. I'm going to pull this up. Looks like they've been downtrending over the past year. In past 3 years, they started at 31 euros and moved down to 12. So I'm not sure what they do because they're too small of a market cap to have had a profile written for them. So there's no profile for KNB, unfortunately, but that kind of limits what I can say about them. I don't know what they do, but I'll check them on Ortex, and potentially they have some Ortex data out. It looks like we got nothing on Ortex either. It's just blank for KNB, other than the price as the price, but no short interest, no short data available for them. So I think they're just too small of a company. I'm not sure what they're all about. And Michael Kaminsky says, thoughts on Sundial? Obviously, I think Sundial is going up over the long term. I'm holding quite a bit. It's good to see that they're bouncing off of 57 twice today. Hopefully they can maintain that and they don't decay too much further, but it wouldn't surprise me, and at a certain point, they just become a better buy. I think that the institutions are probably pushing them down today. We've seen the short interest on them increase. We'll take a peek at it again and see what it's at now. But we've definitely seen them get pushed down artificially low, I think. I think that at this point, they might even have more cash on the balance sheet. Not literally cash, but cash and other investments than their market cap. So it's getting to be a pretty low valuation for Sundial. So 2.14% increase in the short interest change today. Shorts are responsible in part for pushing them down. They're up, granted 2% on the day. But they should probably be up quite a bit more. And Cannabo Group is a cannabis company. So yeah, I think I think all the cannabis stocks are probably going to be moving up. Sundial and KNB, Cannabo. I think that they're all going to be moving up once we see U.S. legalization. Some of them will be moving up purely off of hype. Some of them won't have the capital required to get into the U.S. markets. Sundial does. They have a lot of cash on hand, and they could definitely expand into U.S. markets pretty effectively, I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. But I'm confident in, at least a short-term gain in a lot of cannabis stocks. So KNBO or KNB could also be moving up over the short term. I'm not sure about the fundamentals. I'm not sure if they do well over the long term from legalization, but pretty much everything is going to be spiking on the news when it happens. That's what I expect, at least. And it's looking like it is 11 o'clock, guys. So that is officially where we're going to be ending the stream. So thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully we'll see y'all tomorrow. And we'll see if we can't get some of these stocks a little bit greener. We're watching today. It's all green pretty much. It's not as green as we were hoping, but it is appreciated that it's green after a very red day yesterday. So other than that, hopefully y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.